Welcome, listeners, to Gamer Headlines Spoilercast. As the name clearly suggests, Spoilercast is an in-depth discussion on all of the best and worst moments in a recently released title. I am one of your co-hosts, Adnan Riaz. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Chris Cortez.
Hello, everybody.
And this week, we are joined by Alan Muir.
Spoilers, I have not beaten the game, but I've been spoiled myself so many times that I cannot bear it anymore.
That sounds like lyrics of a song.
It does.
Don't start singing.
No, I
don't
won't.
Get copyright strike.
Yeah, we don't got, even if it's the original piece, we just don't got time for this nonsense. But anyway, guys, yeah, welcome, of course. You know, it's always exciting. I always feel like I'm ripping on Telltale when I say this, but I'm not. I'm just very excited when we review a game that's not, you know, like, because we've done already two series, or doing two series that are developed by Telltale, so it's always exciting to do a different game. Ironically enough, I pointed out to Adnan, though, that this is a Warner Brothers game, again, like a distributed game. So that's pretty funny. But anyway, welcome, guys, to the Spoilercast on Batman Arkham Knight. Just to let you guys know, as Adnan mentioned, we're going to be talking about everything, so if you guys don't want to be spoiled, come back, listen, you know, once you've beaten the game, because we're going down and dirty. We're going to be talking about stuff, you know, even beyond the main story mode, all those alternate, what is it, the Operation Nightfall. We're going to talk about that.
Oh, God.
But I guess before we begin, I guess just, you know, really quickly in a short kind of like sentence, what was you guys' general impressions on the game overall?
Not enough Bane.
Not enough Bane. Actually, no. From what I understand, no Bane at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, not enough.
2 out of 10.
They could have replaced him with Goliath.
Goliath, yeah, that would have been cool. I dug it for the most part. It's definitely not my least. If you guys caught the Gamer Headlines show we did last week, it's definitely not my least favorite entry in the series.
You mean this week?
Oh, sorry. God damn it. It's like we've been doing all these recordings. Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant the one from this week. I think it's episode 37. We talked about what our least favorite games were and our favorites. And I didn't list this one as my least favorite despite all the shit it's been getting. So yeah, I thought it was very enjoyable. I mean, I definitely got sucked into it. I played everything except for the Riddler trophies because I'm sorry, fuck that. I didn't not do them for the other 3 games. I'm not going to do it for this one. I don't care if we get like a full 2 minutes of more of an ending. You know, Operation Nightfall. It's just so stupid that was forced on us. But aside from that, I and some Batmobile stuff, which I know everyone on the internet is aware of. I did dig it, though. I thought it was a fun game. But of the Rocksteady games, it's probably my least favorite one.
I don't like how the fact that the leaderboards were offline for the first week.
That was really stupid.
And so, like, when they were online, most people have stopped playing it.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit like, what's the point of even activating them now?
What is with Warner Brother Games having so much issues with online features at launch? Because I know that...
Because they just don't get it.
Yeah, like Mortal Kombat X, I know that was a different developer, but like, you know, these games that are published by Warner Brothers always have all these things. It's like a curse.
They're more corporate than like EA and stuff because they just stick to a schedule. Mm-hmm. Regardless of that, if the game is incomplete, they'll just shove it out and just like put the day one patch out there.
Oh yeah,
most games should literally just be the installation patch and that's it. Yeah. The one that gets the game loaded. It shouldn't be that along with a day one patch, which kind of says that already says that your game is broken before you've released it. Probably one of the biggest like woes of the 7th and 8th generation day one patches. Batman Arkham Knight is a very, very interesting one. I've never seen one feature polarize the entire internet and a gaming community like that. Batmobile, like, we'll get into the nitty gritty of that later, but I mean, like, that just completely polarized most people's opinions, like, and even critics as well. It's very strange how like the review scores were going off on different sites. You can see ours on GamerHeadlines.com as well if you're interested. But like overall, I really did enjoy certain parts of it. My only problem is there was a lot of cliches. I said this to someone before, and I was like, I'm not going to go in there being really kind of like, you know, expecting something. There's very few superhero games or movies or anything that's really shocked me. One of them, Man of Steel, and another one probably is Batman Arkham City towards the end,
right?
Where you listen to it where the Joker dies. It's that kind of thing where it's like, really, that actually happened? Like, it kind of gets me that moment where I get out of my chair, I'm like, wait, that actually happened? Like, because I'm kind of thrown off the general cliches that happen in these universes. So playing Arkham Knight was fun. I just didn't. It's just like how it starts as well. It's just like, and this is how the Batman died. Because I'm like, obviously you're not going to die.
Yeah, that was a pretty shitty opening. Like, that line just threw me off, like, in a bad way.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of things happen. It's like, really? It's like, I just don't like that image of that's what Batman is. Every single lecture. The final installment is Batman dying or supposedly dying and ending up in a French cafe where Alfred meets him or something. It's just, I just don't like that. But I did enjoy the story and I love some of the mechanics.
Hey, at least it's not him getting sent back in time by Darkseid. Because that was fucking ridiculous.
I know what you're talking about.
Almost as bad as Batman. Almost as bad as Superman spinning the world.
I have to actually, what Alan just brought up. That's a good point to bring up. I have to give credit to Rocksteady and I guess to a certain degree, WB Montreal. At the very least, they make like their stories. At the very least, are a perfect combination, in my opinion, of comic book and grounded to reality. It's not so much grounded to reality like, the Dark Knight trilogy, which I'm happy for because I think grounding it... I think certain things work, but after a while it kind of gets tiring. But it's really cool. I dig how they add in a lot of the comic book stuff. Like, everyone's very comic book-y looking, and there's a lot of, ideas like Ra's al Ghul and his, immortality stuff. But at the same time, they do ground it in terms of, like, other things. Like, certain characters are grounded because it makes more sense that way, like Calendar Man, for example, whereas other people they have a little bit more fun with. So that's pretty cool. I think that's a constant that's been throughout the entire, like a trilogy or 4 games, whatever.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest factors is Batman's underdevelopment in this game. I understand the fact, like, the Batman of the first 2 games you understand really well as great character development, and then Arkham Origins presents Batman, the fresh out the blocks Bruce Wayne, who's just become Batman and kind of like got this rough instinct, and he's like, get the cops against everyone else. But this one, he just doesn't seem to have any character development. He just seems like bland. Very much like
he did seem off, right?
I feel like the only character development in the game was when Robin keeps like persisting, like, let me help you, Bruce. Same with Nightwing, like, let me help you. And they kind of didn't really build into that kind of, even the darker side of Batman, like, they kind of link up to it, but it takes a long time to get to that with the Jason Todd thing. But like, they just don't really build on that factor that, this is Batman, like, this is why he's so rogue and like renegade. He just wants to do things on his own. But like, Kevin Conroy doesn't do anything to like sell that. Like, there's no lines to sell it because he could just say something. It just feels really kind of like he's more silent than anything. And I know Batman is a bit of a quiet guy, but I mean, like, it's just not... It just didn't sell it for me. And especially when you talk about grounded, you'd expect him to kind of be like that.
Yeah.
Or say something.
Yeah, I think Arkham Knight was definitely... We had the least interesting Batman, even though the most interesting things were happening to him. Exactly. Having the Joker, the fear toxin... all that stuff going through him. It was a bit of a letdown. I still think Kevin Conroy still did what... It was very nice still to hear him. Because I know he skipped out on Origins since that was, like a prequel, and I guess they just wanted a younger voice. But it was cool hearing him again and just stepping right into it. But yeah, as a character, I agree. He kind of was the dull knight instead of the dark knight.
The dull, yeah. That's what I mean. I mean, just getting into the story as well. The beginning is just like in your face. I really love that. There was no kind of like just slow. It was just like straight on point. But I think the story just doesn't have like the pacing issues. There's so many pacing issues throughout the entire thing, which is really annoying.
Well, the beginning was very fast-paced. Like, it didn't...
That's what I mean, yes.
Yeah, it was super, like, just in your face and, like, no time at all to slow down or anything. And then all of a sudden they just kind of, like, quietly, you know, like, went back to being more in line with what we're used to with the Arkham games. And when they did that, I thought that was kind of cool.
Isn't it funny how they evacuated all the Gotham citizens, so they didn't have to make up that? They didn't have to make up that fact that there's no Gotham citizens on the streets.
Yeah,
So
I'm so tired of that. It's such a cheap. Like they did it. Like it made sense. Yeah, it's made sense for Asylum and City, and I guess Origins, but not really.
My entire point, this breaks into a plot point. Like, go to the Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's. Joker doesn't let them get off the island. He wants them to off the island. He wants them to. I'm not talking about Lost, but he doesn't want them to get off of Gotham because the entire point is that if they go off Gotham, they're going to die.
Right.
Like he wants people to be in that city. He's that master of just like terror in that city. He's terrorizing every citizen in Gotham. Yet Scarecrow wants to deploy a toxin to an empty city.
Yeah, he's cool with it, right? He was just like, let them go. We have the Dark Knight.
When I got to like halfway point, I was like, why is Scarecrow deploying a toxin when the only people there are the Gotham police and Batman? There's no one else here, like, apart from your own people. I'm like, this makes no fucking sense. Like, why would you let these people get off of Gotham?
Yeah,
that was the point where I was like, superhero story. Like my mind was ready to explode.
Yeah, that was a very. It was pretty stupid. It was a cheap thing, but I mean, you know, once you kind of roll your eyes and you get over that or whatever. I have to give credit though to. The way Gotham looked. I thought Gotham looked really cool. I kind of imagine it being bigger. It is pretty big. It's a big map, but I don't know. I felt like it wasn't as big as I thought it would be. Like when you look off into the distance in Asylum and in City, and you see like Gotham City in the background. I don't know. I always expected it to be bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. But
and they just kind of made it. I mean, it works, but. I think they even said scale was a big thing, and I'll admit that the buildings are super tall. Scale was, oh man, climbing Wayne Tower and then launching off is so epic. Yeah, that was kind of like a little bit of a meh moment.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something that I think is pretty big that everyone's been talking about, and I know it's kind of like beating a dead horse, but we should probably bring it up on the spoiler cast. Batmobile.
Actually, can we hold off that for a minute and just keep with the story?
Okay, sure.
If we kill the story off first, that is beating the dead horse, but we'll get to that. That's a very, very juicy topic in itself. That Batmobile.
Yeah.
But like in the story itself, I did like a lot of the villains coming back. One of my favourite things was that Rocksteady actually acknowledged Arkham Origins. I was like so happy that they actually acknowledged the events of that game.
Yeah,
I was like, thank God you've not gone down the route of just being like, you know,
fuck you guys,
disregard. It's just like a kind of rude insult of just like saying that work is not good. Because I know people give a lot of criticism to Origins, but it's not that bad. People make it out to be as if it's like a 5 out of 10 or something, or a 4. Mm-hmm. It's not really that bad. It's actually a decent game. It's got a lot of great moments as well.
It was. No, I agree with that. And plus, the way they integrated it into it worked. Even though it was a prequel and there's no mention of it in Asylum and City, the way they wrote around it made sense. Like how Slade's like, I've been busy, Batman, and stuff like that. And also with, what's his character's name? Firefly? Yeah. How, he's like, I've been waiting too, Batman. Like all evil and fucked up and shit. And it just works, like the way they presented it.
Were you hoping that Willem Dafoe broke that building where it's on fire?
Wait, what about Dafoe?
That first building that Firefly breaks out of, I was hoping it was Willem Dafoe. And his Green Goblin flies like, out am I?
You thought I was dead, eh, Batman?
Would make no sense why that happens, but I was so hoping it would happen. But Firefly came out and I was like, fair enough, that's a decent substitute.
It's Sony trying to make their money, so they're like, you could use the Dafoe Green Goblin somehow. Just go ahead.
Even though it's a different publisher?
Yeah,
yeah, different like companies, rivals.
Just don't call him the Green Goblin, but you can use that to focus.
You can call him the Green Man.
The Green Man. Green Man, damn you.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that was cool, and I think there was quite a good diverse set of villains. I think that in some points Harley Quinn was pointless to that game.
Yeah, Harley Quinn just had her one moment in that Arkham Asylum-esque, thing that they tried to make out when you go back to the movie studio and you have to hunt down. Which, by the way, that moment with Joker singing, no one talks about that, but that was awesome. That was so fucking cool. We need to talk about that more at one point.
Yeah.
But Harley was very criminally underused, and I don't know if it was just me, but I felt like Tara Strong wasn't as good with the voice than how she was with Arkham City. Like, in Arkham City, she sounded great. Like, a perfect, like, not replacement, but huh?
Well, I mean, like, the Harley Quinn character stepping out the shadow of the Joker. I just don't think they give enough time for Harley Quinn to do anything. That's my kind of criticism, more in the sense that she's on such little screen time that her voice doesn't really personify personality or give her any kind of direction.
I don't know. I mean, that could be the reasoning why. I just felt like it was more of an impersonation that in Arkham Knight than acting how she was in City. Because in City, it really did sound like Arlene Sorkin, the original voice actor of Harley. And it was a perfect, person to take over the role and stuff like that. Here, it just sounds like someone doing an impersonation of Arlene Sorkin. It didn't really sound like an actor acting as Harley Quinn. And that was kind of like a bit of a letdown. Because I love Tara Strong. I think she's a phenomenal voice actor. And she has, like, a really wide range. But that was kind of a bit of a letdown. I'd be curious to, know if, like, the director was different, the voice director.
That DLC was fucking stupid as well for Harley Quinn.
Oh, you're talking about the Arkham City one?
No, the Arkham Knight.
Oh, one. Yeah, the
just so pointless.
Blue Haven one, right? Yeah.
I felt like I was playing like Batman.
Yeah,
like she was pretty much doing what Batman does. I'm like, this makes no sense when Batman kicks her ass 9 times out of 10. Like, it just makes no sense. Like the only good part about it was the thing that she makes a loud noise when she does takedowns.
Yeah. The what's it called? I heard I haven't played it, but I heard the Red Hood one was just as bad.
Yeah, I expect it's just so pointless pre-order incentives. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
I would pre-order mine. So I was like 2 days beforehand.
At least it was free though, but it still sucks.
Well, free.
Yeah, free. Quote unquote.
Like, I can't get that Red Hood DLC unless they release it onto the store.
They are probably. I think the idea is around when I think it ends August or September. The exclusivity or whatever of the pre-order bonus. So it'll probably be. I don't know if I'd even want to. I mean, full disclosure, I bought the season pass because I didn't get the game from the publisher. It was given to me as a gift. Technically, long story, but whatever. I received Arkham Knight as a gift from a friend of mine, a relative, and so I wasn't able to. I didn't buy it, so I'm like, hey, I have this extra money. Let me get the thing.
My only reason to invest into season pass is just to do more spoiler casts. I'll have to think about that before actually kind of like taking that step forward.
Well, what I'm getting at is just that I probably would have been less likely to. If I had bought the game, I probably would have been less likely of it, and I don't think the Harley Quinn DLC was a good promotional. Like, it's not a good trailer for the season pass.
No.
Hopefully the Batgirl one is, which we just found out the date. It's like in 2 weeks or something.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the actual story itself, the Joker, Hamill, it's just like,
that was a huge surprise.
Yeah.
That was because like Hamill had said in Arkham City, he's like, "Oh, that's it, I'm done."
Yeah,
unless they did the Killing Joke, he's like, "That's it."
Yeah, they did that very well, keeping that hush hush. Like, I mean, the obvious beginning part where you have to set fire to the Joker was just not needed.
Yeah,
like it's just that thing where Rocksteady's like, he's not in it, and then people are like, is he in it? It's not like David Hayter, where David Hayter's like, I'm not in it. I'm not in it. Like, he's flat out like, I'm not in MGS5. Fuck off. Like, maybe he's actually in MGS5, but, it's having me think. But, Yeah, that was a really great moment. I love that. It was quite a little bit of a jump scare as well, where you turn around and he's standing there with a gun pointed.
Yeah, that made me go like, ah! By the way, on a side note, we'll get there, but there's a lot of jump scares in this game.
There are some great ones. There are some great jump scares. And yeah, I just think he was great when he came in. He really twisted the story into like a whole new dynamic. Mm-hmm. Something that was really refreshing and a much needed change from Asylum City and Origins.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think, like, for me, what the best part is Batman's biggest fear. That, the Joker is gone, but he's in the back of his head now.
Yeah.
And, like, he's more powerful than you could ever imagine. You can't physically hurt him, and he can't do anything about him. He's just there.
Yeah, that was really cool. I dug that. I thought it was cool that they... It was an interesting way of bringing him back, because it's not a cheating... It's not like they're cheating or anything, because they killed him. He's dead. And he couldn't interact with anyone. And by the way, I love how Batman just ignores him. Not once really speaks to him.
Not acknowledge him, yeah.
I love the messages, the 2 messages he leaves.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where he's like, Bruce, this is your father. That was really funny.
I have some concerns about you dressing up.
That was so... Yeah, the Easter eggs in this game was
This is your mother. I have to say, sorry. I just have to say, it's so funny because they were both dead.
That was a great moment with the 2 answer phone messages of Bruce Wayne's parents as Joker.
Like such a dick.
And the thing is, I had Lucius there while I was doing it.
Right, yeah.
But leading into the actual Joker thing, leading into the Arkham Knight, the Arkham Knight is a cool character. I'll give him that. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that the Joker was used with the Jason Todd sequences, the Killing Joke that they did with Barbara Gordon, and then they did the Death in the Family for Jason Todd.
Death in the Family.
Yeah, and I said to Chris, there's a great moment where they really personify what the Joker is. And Joker's talking to Jason Todd, and he's like, so, who's the Batman? And he's like, he is, and he just shoots him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't like a telltale. And I'm just like, oh, that is just, you could not perfect the Joker at that point any more than that one scene where he shoots him before he even says who Bruce Wayne is. Because that's the fact that, like, a lot of the villains do want to know who Batman is, and Joker doesn't. That's what I think, like, one of the things that makes Joker stand out in that universe. He's probably the only one who doesn't care who Batman is.
Yeah.
He just finds it very interesting.
That was, plus the way, I mean, just the torture and all. I mean, it just shows how fucking crazy Joker is, too. Yeah. It adds another layer to, like, a character that's dead already, but that he was willing to torture him into thinking, I want to know so badly, and then right when he's going to find out, he's like, how dare you turn against your friend? What a dick.
He's such a psychologically complex character.
In the comic Death in the Family, Jason Todd is actually... There's actually a 900 number that people could call to see if they wanted him dead or not.
Yeah.
Over like 90% of people called voting yes, kill him.
Yeah.
They fucking brutalized him in the comics. Didn't he get beaten with a crowbar?
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, like, you want him dead, he's dead.
In the Batman movie Under the Red Hood, which is a really good animated film, Joker says, let's get a picture of the 3 of us and the crowbar.
That's so great.
What a fantastic line.
Dude, seriously, like, I can't imagine anyone but the Joker in my... I mean, Mark Hamill's voice in my head now. When it comes to, like, reading comics or books or anything related to it, I just will always imagine Mark's portrayal. It's just so iconic and class. It was just lovely having him back, too. That was so cool.
Oh, yeah. I think I love
Take that, Troy Baker.
Oh, what happened?
He's probably... No?
Wait.
I was like, take that, Troy Baker.
Well, to give him credit, Troy did what he did, but, like, I love that we got...
He didn't impress him.
Yeah.
He probably recorded the line for Joker in the next Batman game, but he probably doesn't realise that yet. But
the thing I love though, was when you get the fear toxin, and you get to see Joker, 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 get hit with the fear toxin, and Batman's eyes turn green.
Yeah.
Oh,
and Joker starts.
Yeah, that was a cool thing. Little to show like the struggle he's having of Joker's blood taking over and whatnot.
Yeah. The Arkham Knight's identity wasn't surprising at all. I worked that out within like an hour or so. Because it's the same thing.
They should have bundled this with Under the Red Hood.
No, it's not even that. There's no kind of like, it's just not that kind of shock factor. If Jason Todd was in the first Arkham game and he went missing, then it could have been like a huge shock and twist. Mm-hmm. But it's like, oh fuck, we've actually seen this character before. It was just scenes that led up to it. And when he got to it and ripped off the mask, I was like, oh, it's Jason Todd. Like, the same with the Barbara Gordon. The Barbara Gordon sequence was cheap because as soon as she shoots herself, it was a cool sequence to have Sarah, but as soon as she shot herself, I was like, she's not dead. That's obviously not her. When Joker's there, he's obviously infused with so many toxins, Batman. And the fact of the matter is, he can't go to the dead. If you can never touch the dead body or look at it, there you go. It's point number one of like the biggest story cliches that can happen. That if you can't go up to the body and like look at it properly.
Yeah, I was telling Adnan off cast how what was it that I felt like such an idiot afterwards because I legitimately thought, oh my god, they killed Barbara. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I read online, someone had written, I think it was on GameFAQs or something, someone was like, well, I knew obviously that Barbara wasn't dead. And I'm like, well, why? And I kept reading it. And they're like, because it was probably you.
Yeah. Was he called theatricality and deception? Is using it?
But no, and they said because the moment that you see the Joker, the hallucination of the Joker interact with the gun, because he pushes the gun forward towards Barbara, and I'm like, fuck, that's a good point. I didn't pick up on that. So, but it was all really done well because later, except for the reveal of her being alive, it felt very anticlimactic. I was telling Adnan about that. How when it's like, oh hey, by the way, she's still alive. I was like, what? Like it was just so weird and out of left field. But yeah, that I think that the cliche moments you're talking about, definitely, yeah, that comes into. And I was even saying, I wonder if that's because Paul Dini had nothing to do with this game, that he had written Asylum and City, and because I didn't really like too much the storyline of Origins either. So, and that was a different writing team. So I don't know. I didn't really like the writing in Arkham Knight. I didn't think it was as top notch. But it got the job done. What is it? Everything like plot being recognized so quick aside, like the cliches aside, it worked pretty well.
Yeah,
Also, can we say big ups for Dave Fennoy moving on up, playing Lucius Fox.
Lucius Fox, what a great character that was.
Yeah,
I was really happy seeing Lucius.
He was cool. Yeah, that was
especially after. Oh, go on.
No, I was gonna say that's his first appearance in the Arkham series, right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like, especially.
No. In Arkham City, you hear from him, but it's actually a trap by the Mad Hatter.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so
it was a side quest.
Okay, I didn't do any of those, so that's probably why.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, he didn't do his like free button line like Morgan Freeman does in the Dark Knight. But yeah, he was great. I love him. My favorite entire thing about the entire game and the story wise was John Noble as Scarecrow.
Yes.
Oh, that guy was so great as Scarecrow. Oh my god, I've never been so interested in a character's voice than anything, and like he just made Scarecrow what he should be. Where he's just like, it's just when he's not seeing most of the game, and it's just like how he talks. It's almost like Jigsaw-esque. He's just like tormenting Batman like the screens. And he's like, I'm coming after your friends, your family. Not after you. You'll be the last person to be killed.
I was surprised our boy Baker didn't voice him.
Well, he probably did.
Why
he
not?
Didn't realize that.
They just gave credit to someone else to.
Baker did voice Red Hood.
Yeah, Baker voiced a lot of characters in this game. He did Two-Face also, and I forgot the other person.
Okay, so we're back. We've just taken a short break, but in that break, we have James joining us.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, returning back. Wait, this is James's first spoiler cast, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Because he was on, the last time on Dragon Ball Z. No, we had him on the GHS. Welcome, James.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So James is joining us into a discussion where we were just talking about Scarecrow. I said to Chris and Alan that I love his voice, like just when he's in the actual city terrorizing Batman. It's like unbelievable.
It was a bit Scottish at times. I kind of right,
What's
like
wrong
a bit
with
of
that?
an accent. No, nothing wrong
almost,
with that. But John Noble, I don't think he's Scottish, right?
Almost Gordon Ramsay like.
He's not.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting that he added like a little bit of a flair to it.
I think he's either from Australia or New Zealand.
Yeah,
Probably.
Maybe he just wants to be like Gordon Ramsay and just like shout at Batman.
Oh, come on! I actually thought he sounded a little bit like Hugo Strange from Arkham City.
Yeah.
There were times when I was like, "Oh, am I listening to Hugo Strange?"
I really liked Hugo Strange as well from Arkham City. It's just when they're more about the Batman films, I like more when they talk, and there's something about them that's so creepy, and it makes them feel like they're not even grounded in that universe, that they're from a distant like reality of like how they think and everything else. But yeah, like, that was probably my biggest fact that I really enjoyed. The endings are just like, oh god. Like, I don't mind it, but I'm just like over that fact. Like, I got it with Metal Gear Solid Peace Walk, where like Zidornov escapes like 15 times before you get the true ending to Metal Gear. I'm like, what? Why am I still playing this? Even when the credits roll, I'm like, what? And obviously Batman is just like, you have to get activate Night Protocol, and then you have to after that you have to do another task at the definitive ending, as we'll call it. But as I expected what it would be. I think the actual... Have you guys seen the final ending for Arkham Knight?
Yes.
The full Nightfall one?
The one where after you've done the Riddler challenges and everything else?
Yeah. I did not earn it, but I saw it.
I watched it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was not...
Like, fuck those Riddler trophies.
I will get to it, but I'm just going to watch it online. I was like, I can't, like, wait this long. I just need to watch it and get it done. I need to know what happens. I did like that ending a little bit at the end. It took me a while to get what it meant, and also searching the forums for someone to explain it to me a little bit, because I was like, oh, this is one of the superhero endings. Like, what? Like,
you mean the bat creature? The bat?
Yeah, where he's standing on the roof, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, wait, you mean at the very, very, very end when those people are... Yeah, that was... I think that's open to interpretation, though. I don't think there's really a definitive ending to it. I interpreted it, because this just made the most sense to me, that Operation... What is it? Nightfall, I think?
There's a Nightfall Protocol.
Oh, Protocol, right. That the whole point of that was basically to kill the Bruce Wayne identity. Like, Batman is full-on Batman. I mean, I'll put it this way. He might as well sew the mask onto his face. Like, he's no longer Bruce. He's just the Batman. I don't know. That's how I got out of it. The whole, like, if he's using fear toxins or not, I could see him doing that. Like, Adnan brought up a good point off podcast that if he is using it, that just adds more to him actually being a Batman creature. And that maybe that would scare the people straight, and people wouldn't think Batman's back. They'd think, like, this creature, this like entity. It would make it more mythical,
reminiscent of Batman.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like more of a mythical creature, like a myth, like a Jersey Devil type thing,
or like a Man-Bat.
Yeah, something like that. And that's a pretty cool ending. I do think that it was.
Can I just say how crazy it was that Man-Bat was in this game?
That was really cool.
That.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't really like how they did it. I think it's cool that it's open to interpretation, but I didn't really particularly like it either, especially since they made such a big deal of this being like the conclusion to the trilogy, the Rocksteady trilogy, and it just felt like a half-assed ending. I don't know. I've noticed that's a thing that developers do now. They always hype up the ending, and then you see and you're like, that's it? Like, fuck.
There are very few endings in most games that kind of really catch me. I think like The Last of Us was probably the biggest one that really caught me last time. I was like, oh, that's I was really fascinated, intrigued. I was like, what a fantastic ending that is. But it's just like the fact at the beginning, like I said, like, Jim Gordon's like, this is how the Batman died. My eyes were rolling. I was like, if I was in a cinema, I'd have to leave and just like kind of wash my face and come back in and be like, are you kidding me? That's what you said to start the game. It's just like, I feel like, Barbara and like Robin get married, and then like Gordon's mayor, and it just seems like actually like all those 6.5 million citizens of Gotham have all of a sudden come running back into the city.
I would move permanently from Gotham.
Yeah, exactly.
That place is just far past fucked. I'm not just.
My money's on Metropolis. At least you got a guy that can't be shot or.
Yeah, but then again, every now and then a building's falling on you because he's having a fight with that guy.
That's true, right?
Or if we take it in the Man of Steel direction, all of Metropolis blows up.
That's true. Metropolis got really messed up in Steel. Just
move somewhere like Mexico, like Andy Dufresne does, and just like
does that exist in DC? Because like,
well, we are establishing it now. Just go and like live in that whatever island he goes to, which he tells Red to go to, and fix some boats. Like, I would not live anywhere within the radius of Batman villains, Superman villains, or Batman and Superman in general.
Definitely not. No.
Also, it's just like, but I think the ending was a little bit open-ended. It wasn't really. It was ambiguous and it was a little bit cheap as well at the same time. My interpretation I kind of liked, but I felt like they should have just done that rather than being cheap and just like giving this open-ended ending for like what you'd expect. It was kind of weird because when you get that hype behind this was the final Rocksteady game, it didn't really give that final definitive ending.
Yeah,
that was weird. One thing I thought that was kind of funny about this series, though, when you think about it, because like I think, as much as I think the story is really strong in these games, I feel like the stories are strong, like in a self-contained way. So, like, I really like Arkham Asylum and Arkham City and Arkham Knight, and I really like the stories that they brought forward. But I feel like the overarching plot wasn't really there. There was no kind of like Mass Effect. The first one, it was setting up a trilogy. It was setting up this particular world, and the conflict with the Reapers was the story, and that stayed throughout the entire time. There really was no cohesive thing that was, the big conflict that they had to wrap up in this game. Everything was kind of like, everything that happened in Arkham Asylum, it melded into Arkham City, but it wasn't really like a big deal. And there was no one enemy or one big thing that Batman was facing that had to be wrapped up. So like when this one had a kind of ambiguous ending and it wasn't the best ending, it didn't bother me as much as because I felt like the overarching plot or the trilogy, there really wasn't a strong trilogy story arc. It really was just 3 good games from Rocksteady. So I was kind of okay with it not having a crazy ending that looped everything together because it didn't really. That wasn't the structure they kind of went with,
Yeah.
I think adding on to that, I think that there's too many subplots in the game, which breaks away from that overarching story because they mainly what I'd expect was the overarching plot between Joker and Batman again, where Joker's getting inside his mind. But then outside of that, you have the Joker and you have the Scarecrow Batman fight. Well, Scarecrow and Arkham Knight versus Batman fight, and then inside that you have Harley looking for Batman and trying to kill him, and then you have all the other characters. It's kind of like like a layer cake almost of like different plots that kind of like just don't know where the center is where these two like big fights. Like I can kind of see like a lot of games do that, like they have that great overarching plot that this is it. It's like Gears of War, it's the Locust versus the humans for a battle of survival, and then all of a sudden the Lambert come in, and it's like. Where does it go? It's like detaches the plot completely because it's like who's fighting who wants what. Now you're telling different stories. Who's the leader of the Lambert? It's like kind of all these scenarios. So that's what my kind of take was in like the Arkham Knight kind of story.
Yeah, and because they have so many characters and they're doing so much stuff, they didn't really like the Joker. The Joker is the perfect character to, and this is no pun intended, but to be a wild card, literally, because when he comes into the story in, obviously in Arkham Asylum, I think he pushes the events forward a bit more, but in Arkham City and then definitely in Arkham Knight, his influence is more of just kind of tripping up Batman. He has his own agenda, and it's all out of the way. But the real main conflict in Arkham City is Hugo Strange, which is really Ra's al Ghul's plot, and then the real conflict in Arkham Knight is Scarecrow's plot, which the Arkham Knight is kind of helping him and kind of not helping him because he has his own reasons. So the Joker is just kind of thrown in there, and it's not. And I think that's where he works best, is when he's not necessarily the mastermind behind the whole plot. He's just thrown in. Throws a wrench into the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, and plus that actually follows the Joker's character pretty well. Like the whole anarchy and just like crazy and not really knowing what, with the exception of Asylum, he like they kind of captured him better in City and well, not so much Origins either. If we're going to bring that up, because he kind of planned whatever City. I think he was more in line with character than anything else. I would think. And I guess to a degree Knight, even though technically it's not really him. Because it's just like Batman's, the interpretation or whatever you want to call it.
Do you know there's that one moment when the Joker's head is in the night when the mask comes off? I nearly threw my controller out the window. I was like, you fucking kidding me, you fuckers. I was like, you can't say that. Because at that point I'd established that it was Jason Todd, but when I saw that I was like, you fuckers. But after like 15 interviews, no, it's not him. It's not him. It's him. I'd be like, oh, the game would have gone out the window as well, along with the PS4.
Well, I feel like the whole opening scene was meant just to immediately dispel the possibility that it was him.
I mean, you literally burn his corpse.
Did any of you just press I was there for like 2 minutes, just like pressing the button once. I was like, "Why is he not setting on fire?" And then I keep pressing it. I was like, "Oh, is that what you meant to do?" I was like, "What the fuck is this all about?"
I got to play that first, and I pressed the button once or twice, and I started to realize that it was something. Yeah, it was interactive, and then I realized I had to hold it down, right? So it took me a little while to figure this out, and then I got to watch both my brothers play the game, for the first time, and I got to see how they reacted. My older brother, it was immediate. I don't know. I guess he's so impatient. He's pressing A all the time. So he just hits A, and it's immediate. And my younger brother had the same reaction I had. He kind of hit it, and then went, "Oh, it does something," and then he hit it again. But he kept you just tapping it, and then he went, "Oh, you have to hold it." So that was kind of funny.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's quickly go into side missions before we get into the nitty gritty of the gameplay part. I did like side missions quite a bit. Some of them were not too bad. I think I said to Chris that the Hush story was a little bit wasted. Not that it was completely bad. I think it was a cool idea, just leading up to it, the fact that he comes in and he sits down and he grabs Lucius. I just don't like the fact that it was just literally 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I was like, really? Because Hush was built up to be this great character at the end of City. I was like, oh my god, this could be actually a really crazy plot now. That he is Bruce Wayne, but he just comes in there, he's like, yeah, I'll, do this, and that's it.
Yeah, that could have been definitely, there's a lot more substance there than what they gave us. I will say, though, the introduction was pretty cool. How, as Batman, you went in the elevator, and then it just, I thought, man, he changed quick.